Have you ever looked at something in the store or had a conversation with somebody and you knew instantly that something was off and it was probably the reason that they were being held back or the product wasn't selling? Well, this happened to me last week. So I was sponsoring the National Speakers Association's Influence Conference, and a speaker walked up to my booth and asked if I'd take a quick look at his website. He's an experienced speaker. He even has the CSP designation, which is like one of the highest professional certifications a speaker can earn. I knew who he was, so he had a little bit of name recognition, but then he told me something that stopped me. He said, "I've never been hired through my website." So, pulled it up, and within 10 seconds, I knew exactly why. And it's not because he's a bad speaker. I actually saw him speak the year before at that same conference. But it's because his website wasn't really telling the story of, hey, I'm pretty good at what I do and you can trust me. So here are the four biggest things that I noticed on the site that he could have changed in order to increase his conversions. So one main thing is that search engines couldn't even read his main message. So the biggest headline on the homepage wasn't even text. So he had made graphics, or somebody had made graphics of some of his big ideas. And so it was an image. It wasn't actually words that like Google, AI systems, accessibility tools were able to read. So the biggest, most important information technically wasn't even being read by like the robots, as I like to say. To a visitor, yeah, it looked like text and it looked kind of fun, but it actually stood out a little bit because it's an image, and that just like it's just odd, right? So if your most important message can't be understood by search engines, you're making it harder for people to find you. By the way, this is Boone. I'm not going to stop this video or recording this video simply because he wants to cut a little bit. So everybody wins here. All right, second thing is that his website absolutely skipped any kind of storytelling. So the homepage jumps right into like a demo video, and then it was some testimonials scrolling, and then like a little bit of information about him, but there wasn't any journey. There wasn't any kind of, hey, invitation to read about his speaking or anything like that. What I like to think is, imagine meeting someone like that at like a networking event, right? So you probably don't walk up to people and just hand them a stack of like recommendation letters or, hey, hi, my name's so-and-so, and these people think I'm amazing. No, you would introduce yourself first, and websites work the same way. People need a little bit of context, so who you are, who you help, and why they should keep reading. And that's what was really missing on this site, because testimonials are incredibly valuable. There are really good places to put a testimonial on a website in order to make it convert better. So they're powerful, but this is after you've already built a little bit of trust, right? So the third thing I noticed on this website that I knew why it wasn't converting was that the website looked like it hadn't been updated in years. And it's not just like about colors and fonts, and yes, those things too, but there were blurry photos. The videos weren't like fitting in their frame correctly. And then one of the biggest giveaways is that the website had a fixed width, and then there was gray space on both sides of the browser. And so this is like common from like a long time ago. Like back when websites were hand coded, this was a thing. This is how all the websites looked. But these days, believe it or not, like, I mean, people are judging your credibility based on if you look up to date. So if your website has a modern feel and look to it, people are going to think that your message is modern. And the opposite is true. If your website looks older, your marketing material looks old, they might think that your ideas are outdated and you're not willing to grow with the times or adapt to new industry things, right? So it basically, if your website looks dated, people are going to start thinking maybe your business is dated as well, right? The last thing I'm going to point out about this website was that it felt like, I don't know, like a brochure, I guess, instead of a conversation. Like the speaking page was just a wall of text, and it was just like, I don't know, like 5 keynote titles, and then one paragraph underneath each of like some of the main points or some of the main lessons, and then it just went into the next one. There wasn't like learning outcomes in a bulleted list that people like to read. There wasn't, who is this great for? Who is this best for? In fact, now that I think about it, I truly don't even know if at any point on his website does it say who he's best for. And that can be a problem because if we're trying to serve everybody, we can't serve anybody, right? Oh my gosh. Okay. Boone gets really worked up about this too, huh? Okay, so anyway, the website, or at least his speaking page, read like almost like a menu instead of an experience, instead of a let me show you what you're bringing in. So don't just list your presentations. Make sure that you think about the event planner and what their pain is, what their people are going through, so that you can write your website correctly. All right, my last note is that I just want to say, like, the SEO thing really surprised me the most because he had someone that had professionally done his website. So after he walked away and right before this video, I looked back at the site and I was just shocked again that there wasn't a single H1 heading across his website. Now, if you don't know anything about SEO, Google, right, a search engine, about search engine optimization here, Google is looking at your headings of your website so it knows what the page is about. And AI systems look at all of the headings as well, and they want to know what each section is about. So either way, we want to make sure we have good heading structure because we want Google to know who we are, we want AI to know who we are, so that we can be recommended more and more. All right, so strong heading structure is something that tells the story. And I actually went through AI to see if I could find this speaker, and I pretty much typed in that I was looking for him. I didn't put his name or anything, but I put, some things about his experience. I read through some of the things that he spoke about, and basically I was trying to bait AI into telling me about this person, and he didn't show up. So that means huge red flag, huge missed opportunity, because just making it so it is updated with the times of what the robots are looking for can really help him convert more speeches. To wrap this all up, I want to point out that none of these issues had anything to do with his ability as a speaker. He had videos of him speaking, he had testimonials, he's proven himself, but the problem is that his website wasn't showing him off. And so the website should be something that works, they say even when you're sleeping or whatever, but it's kind of true. So it should build your confidence, it should tell your story, and it should help people imagine you on their stage while knowing you are a good pick. And this is exactly why I built my website in the week process specifically for professional speakers, because who wants to wait months and months for a website that means there's stages that are waiting for them that they might not get picked for. So we work really quick. We do strategy, copywriting, and the website, and we make sure it reflects the caliber of speaker that you've become. So we've worked with over 100 speakers, and in just 1 week, we build all the strategy, all the foundation that addresses all of these things that we talked about in this video so that you can launch and then start getting in front of event planners sooner. So if you are wondering whether your website is helping you or getting you booked, I'd love for you to reach out to Crash Design Co. and we will take a look and see how we can be helpful for you. And if this video helped you think about your website a little bit differently, I'd love to invite you to subscribe, because I'll be sharing more real website reviews, practical tips that can help you get found as a speaker, build your credibility, and get on bigger stages.